Jackie!
Hi, my friend. I have missed you so much.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. It's been a long time. It feels longer. Oddly enough, it was like only 2 weeks or so, but it feels so much longer. It feels like a year.
But we haven't actually talked to each other in like 3 weeks because...
Oh, 3 weeks, yeah.
Because, we had the 1 week off from the podcast and we had some awesome guest hosts.
Yes, thanks I watched again. That. It was very good.
Thanks again to Bev and Heather for filling in there. And I loved our one. I actually just...
Are they related?
No, they look related though, don't they?
Yeah, I thought they were. I was like, oh, are these like two? And then when I first put it on my TV, I thought like, oh my gosh, did he get twin cosplayers? It's so funny. And then I slowly started to see as I watched, they weren't the same. And I was like, that's so funny how much alike they look.
Yeah, they're just good friends of mine. They live down in the Portland area. Met them through costuming several years ago, and just cool. Always, they're like my people. I always, whenever I'm at a con, it's like I really hope that they're there, kind of thing.
Oh, that's awesome. They seem really lovely. I hope to get to meet them.
Yeah. They said the same. And like I said on the show, I'd like to have them both on as guests and probably individually eventually too. So once we grind through that huge, long list of guests that we want to have on the show. Because we actually
we can definitely talk about patterns and stuff. I think that me and those girls would have a lot to talk about there.
You'll definitely connect over patterns.
Yes.
So you're back.
I'm back.
You're alive.
I'm clean.
Survived. You survived. You're clean.
I'm clean for a change. I've been really dirty. Like they
make bike pants, right? Because I saw.
Yeah, but like the Champion bike shorts. I've had the same pair, real talk, since I went to volleyball camp when I was 13.
Oh, so they're like your golden boy.
They're my thing, and I bought multiple pairs that are like that same style because they don't actually make that style anymore. It's Champion, that's the brand, and I don't like any other bike shorts. I like my Champion.
Those are them, huh?
They are so comfortable, and like I could do everything. I feel like I could just just go nuts, ride a bike if I really wanted to.
You could, you could use them for their intended thing, but why? But why would you want to do that? That's not nearly as fun.
No, and it's so hot too. Like people were like, "Oh, coveralls and stuff." Like, are you kidding me? Yeah. It has been so hot. Like the shop is climate controlled. Like it's got, it's heavily climate controlled. So I was even a little cold, so I wore like a zippy on some nights. But I go back and forth so much that I don't want to walk out into that crazy humidity and have layers of clothes on. But
because you're about as far on the coast as you can get. Considering you live on an island.
I'm like right on the island, water on both sides, like water just right out that window. And the problem is
you're very humid right now. Very humid.
Oh my gosh. We had this like heat spell. And so I saw the West was having a lot of heat and issues like that. But our heat when it comes causes thunderstorms because of the water temperature. Y'all remember in school, water temperature, air temperature.
All that sciencey stuff.
Yeah. So we have insane humidity. Like certain days it was 86%, 85%. That's normal. Like 70 to 80 normal in the summer. And it killed me. It was raining with the sun out. So the sun would be out and you'd feel droplets. And that's just the way it is. And the storm would blow through really fast. Wow. And it killed my painting. I had, hair dryer, everything.
Do you usually paint outside then? Is that...
Well, I'll rattle can. So I spray primer and rattle cans outside,
so
and then I
that's going to cause a lot of dust and overspray you do outside, and then
exactly. But the problem is I couldn't spray it outside because
it was nasty.
So I had to avoid like a lot of coats of automotive primer. Something that I would normally do is spray, sand in between, or any primer. I couldn't use rattle can because the humidity bubbled it. So like one day I was like, it might be all right. And I knew better, I just know better and I don't get it. Like, I think there's like a little demon on my shoulder that's like, do it, just do it.
You can do it. It'll work. Yeah. Right.
And I got bubbles on 3 props and had to sand them down. And it was
bubbles in the paint?
Yeah, and it was just Rust-Oleum paint primer, like just plain paint primer. But of course, it was 86%. I checked the humidity after I sprayed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, it doesn't feel that damp. As if I know, like I never know. It's just always damp here. So
do you use a lot of Rust-Oleum stuff?
So I don't, but I got them all for super cheap.
Yeah.
They're just like the basic, just black and white color paint. So if I'm not using a primer and I'm just getting to the point where I want to just spray to see how it comes out, it works well for me. I use the Duplicolor black that you recommended I've been using that for like my metallics and stuff. Yeah. But for these things, I painted like neons, so the white and the black just didn't really matter.
And your paints looked really nice on the couple
you.
shots. Well, let's talk a little bit so everybody listening may not know what you were working on. So,
yes.
So what was it that you were working on for Nintendo the past 3 weeks?
So
14 days, however many days it was.
14 days. They contacted me before E3, so I've been negotiating before that, and Lord above, I wish I would have had all that time, because, man, it would have been great.
Let's get this contract out of the way so I can have these extra 2 weeks to build this stuff for you.
So since this is definitely an interesting conversation that I've had with other people. I'm always really interested in how people get the jobs and how it goes about, and what's it like to bid or negotiate, or it's just like all that side of the professional prop work. Like cosplay is different. You don't deal with this. So this was my very first time. I had the Hearthstone job, but I was the third party subcontractor.
That was already somebody that brought you in.
Yeah,
the deals were already made, right?
Yeah. So this one, I was the very first independent contractor hired for Nintendo of America. So they decided after a few years, I mean, it's been like years, I guess, in the works of like Nintendo kind of branching out and opening up more social media stuff. And I think there's more to come, you'll see. But they usually, I guess, like if you look online, you can see the Splatoon props in Japan were like handled by like a studio and that kind of thing. And so I was the first like cosplayer independent contractor they've reached out to, and all because of their like PR team that contacted me. So I was really, really excited about that. At first I was like, dude, is this a scam? Like, there's no way this is happening to me. Like when I got the email.
Well, because that email was basically a cold call, right? It wasn't like, hey, somebody recommended us to you. We talked to Liz or to somebody else and they said, hey, we should talk to you. It was pretty much just like out of the blue. You got an email and they're like, hey, we want you to build stuff for us.
And it was amazing. They said like, they checked out my social media, and this is something you and I have talked about, but like keeping your image a certain way is really valuable. Yes. Now, if you want to like model for Playboy or do, like certain things like that, or like bikini swimwear or Sports Illustrated, it doesn't really matter. Like you can go all kinds of ways. But if you want, there are certain companies out there that are so protective of their brand. I'm talking, fight to the death to keep their brand a certain way. And they will not hire you if you are, if you flubbed up on the internet. So you have to behave yourself. So keep that in mind.
I mean, if you want to land corporate clients, having a certain image is definitely gonna be in your favor, right?
Yeah, and so and that's you do you, not knocking what you do, but I'm just saying if this is something you're pursuing, definitely keep that in mind, especially young people, because young people get emotional and they make posts or they, do whatever they do on social media. I don't even know. I didn't have it growing up. So I was just writing letters to people angrily. And then a week later I'd get a reply. No, I'm just kidding. But,
wait, did you write a diary? Were you a diary?
No, I've had a diary at different parts of my life. I was just curious. Yeah. I have like a little Lisa Frank diary that has like some stuff from when I was in like elementary school. I would write in a diary and then I gave it up. But it's, so I definitely recommend keeping your brand a certain way, keep your things. I mean, there are people that it's their job to put their opinions out there. That's fine, but try as much as possible to keep your opinions off of your like public social media and whatnot.
Yeah, and, if you have a public page, I mean, it just helps to just come across as a
neutral, family friendly.
Family friendly.
You can fit all kinds of molds. Yeah, and
especially for like a company like Nintendo, right? Because
Nintendo,
their client base is kids. I mean,
family.
Yes, there's tons and tons and tons of adults that play Nintendo games, but when it comes down to it, a lot of their games are really made for the audience of children, and you want to be able to, because like it or not, if they use you, you're part of a brand ambassador, right?
Yeah, a brand ambassador. That's the best thing. That's the best. That's what you're called. So it's very important that if that is what you want to do, you keep that in mind. So, and parents, if you have young kids coming up, try to instill that in their minds too. But again, if you're going down another avenue, that's fine too. This is just talking about this. Yeah. You want to keep this as crisp and clean and hireable. There's a moment of you're unhireable when you do all this bubble of things. So it's not all companies care. Though.
And and like you said, that could just be attitude. It's not even necessarily.
I'm not talking about
just
being naked. I'm talking if you're just just maybe you're just not a nice person on social media, or you come at a lot of people all the time. Like be careful. So It happens. It does happen. But
so anyway, you finally figured out this.
So I finally got the job. You know, they talked to me.
Not a scam. Hey, we want to hire you.
Yeah, not a scam. It was amazingly professional. I talked to them on the phone, and you know, it was definitely handled extremely well. This company was so nice to work with. And Nintendo was extremely nice. I had to, originally I was able to post some of my work in progress pictures, and you guys saw a couple. And then it was a misunderstanding because this is like an umbrella of a bunch of other things that are going on. So they asked me to take them down very politely, and I had to submit some to be approved. So when that happens, I should be able to share with you guys. But you're going to get to see them anyway at San Diego Comic-Con, if any of you are going. So, and the posts will come from them anyway. So like Nintendo may want to post first, and then I can follow up. It's that kind of thing. I mean, it's their stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm okay with following the rules on that. I don't mind. And they've treated me wonderfully. They, you know, a lot of companies they don't want their stuff replicated. And that was a big thing about work in progress stuff. They don't want you to, you know, give people a step-by-step tutorial on how to make something before they even have it of their own,
before it's even at the con for the
news. Exactly. So so I'm really excited for everybody to get to see them. I made 7 pieces, 7 props that were all pretty substantially detailed and or large, and it was extremely hard. I wanted to die. I thought I may have died. I might be undead. I'm not sure. I'm really not. My hands looked pretty undead for a while. My legs looked undead, but it was 14 straight days of just crazy grinding on these props. And I've learned a lot. I'm good at managing people. Like in general, just like I can delegate and not manage. I don't want to say like, I'm a great manager. I mean, I can delegate work well. I can tell you, I need you to do exactly this. I need you to do this. I can give like simple tasks that somebody else can do that doesn't need a skill set. I can delegate really well, but I only had a couple days where I had anybody to delegate to, like, hey, tape this or, you know, sand this. So it was basically me a lot of the time. And that was really hard. I should have, eaten some of the costs and hired somebody. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of people around here. Eric offered to fly in, and I made a joke, like, with 4 days left. I was like, I would have flown that boy in just to have the extra person. Like, it was, you start to realize when you have a hard deadline for something with cosplay, I've always been able to kind of just like, if I don't finish, I don't finish, you know?
Well, then that's the thing. It's like you have the luxury of being like, well, it's just a personal goal.
Yeah.
There's not a corporation waiting for me to, fulfill my end of the contract, right?
Yeah, the contract.
Because you have a contract, and that's kind of the scary part of it. You have a contract. Like, what if I do fail on this because I'm contractually bound to finish this?
And these companies, they have the contracts dictate what you do if you don't finish. So, I mean, expect that. And so there were moments when I was telling Eric, right before we started recording, that it is very hard for me to get to that point where I can no longer keep finishing and I have to paint. It's like that slap of paint on it kind of mentality. That was really hard for me because I'd be painting it and I'm like, oh gosh, like I do not want to put paint on this yet. Like, but you have no choice or it won't cure, you know?
Yeah. And you have all of that to deal with because even if you have 2 weeks, that might include 2 weeks with the time it takes to ship the stuff too, right?
Right, yeah. And so then
all of a sudden 2 weeks becomes 10 or 12 days or so.
Right.
Yeah.
So I luckily had a couple extra days because we were getting to that point where we had a lot of bad weather and it was rainy constantly, so nothing was curing. I had incubator light, hair dryer, dehumidifier. I mean, it was just, I was trying really hard to get it dry, just my airbrush paint, my Createx. And it was a challenge because if I send it painted, but with paint cured, maybe it'd be all right, but it would rub off and it wouldn't last. It would look all right, but it needed sealer. And that's another couple days.
Well, and that was another component of these props too, because correct me if I'm wrong, but these props were made for other people to handle and pose with, right?
Yes, and like it could be thousands of people.
Yeah, so this is for con attendees to hold while they're taking a picture at the Splatoon booth, basically, when it comes down to it. So you definitely, I mean, a lot of times you can get away with no sealer if you're doing a prop for yourself and you're just going to carry it around a con 3 or 4 times and then it hangs up on your wall, right?
Right.
But something like, it's going to be handled by thousands of people at San Diego Comic-Con.
And kids and stuff.
And kids, people are going to just like drool and...
Yeah. So I got I went with shellac because shellac is something that it would cure to the touch fast enough so I could do coats and then I could, speed it up with heat. And it gave me a nice thick layer. That was because it came down to, all right, do I spray with automotive sealer and all this stuff? And what's going to give me the thickest, fastest, protective, shell for that? Yeah. So I went with shellac and, in all honesty, it needed more. I needed 1 full week of painting. Yeah. Painting and curing. Yeah. And not 2 days of painting.
They say you had 2 days.
Yeah. And that is to even say that out loud blows my mind that everything was painted and sealed in 2 days. So painted in 1 day and sealed in the second day. And it's not doable.
Yeah. But you did it.
I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
And I sent them off.
Not ideal to not have that amount of that least amount of time. And those were all glossy finishes too, right?
Yeah, see, we talked about that in the beginning. I'm like, oh man. See, it's misleading. People think it's simple shapes. Like it should be super easy. There is nothing harder than a glossy perfect plastic finish.
Yes, because glossy shows every imperfection. Everything.
So, nail scratches. I mean, I can see everything.
You name it. Every little thing. So
yeah. So that was a little hard for me, but it's it is what it is. I'm happy with what I was able to do in that amount of time. I'm shocked that I was able to do it. And I used my friend Jill, Obsidian Props. I've talked about her before, and a lot of you guys know her. She
who we plan on having on the show soon.
Yes. I love Jill so much. She saved me. I paid her to do a few models, so subcontracted her immediately. I let her know as soon as I got the job. I'm like, I'm going to need you for this because I knew.
Because that was a question I was going to ask you. Is you had always, from the beginning, you had thought about having Jill do some work for you on this too, right?
Yeah. I told her before.
That wasn't like a 3 days into it, you're like, oh crap, I need some help. It was more like you had lined her up previously, you were ready to go. Okay.
Yeah, I let her know
and that was very smart of you, by the way.
Well, I knew what would help me what would help me beat the clock was my 3D printer.
Yeah.
I have to utilize that other little robot, and there was all these parts that I was looking at and just analyzing them, thinking what can I make by hand? What would be really hard? And there were some that were just so structurally, very architecturally, symmetric and had all these crazy shapes. And I thought it's going to take me a lot longer to make that by hand. Or, I mean, so I say that I don't mean I would beat the 3D printer. Of course, we can make stuff faster than 3D printer, but I could be doing something else. What can I assign to the 3D printer?
You can delegate that and have your little 3D printer minion. Yeah. So you're basically double tasking and making 2 things at once, right?
Yeah. It was the only way to have another person. So Jill was my robot 3D printer. So she would make my files and she made them lightning speed fast.
That girl is so fast. I cannot believe how fast she cranks
my ink tank stuff she made in 45 minutes. She's like, are you going to... I was going to bed at 3 a.m. and she's like, if you could just be up for a little bit, if you could be up for just a little bit longer, I can give you this and you can start it printing. And it was 45 minutes. I couldn't believe it.
How fast she is with stuff. It's crazy.
It's legendary.
I know.
She's crazy to me. Everything is, and I don't want to hype everybody's expectations because you do need to pay the girl. Pay her well.
She's worth she's worth every penny. She's
worth every dime because every single prop has interior stabilizers. She has I would give her dimensions of something and she would build it inside the prop to stabilize it, like dowel rods, PVC.
So you could run rods and stuff through stuff to stiffen things and everything. Yeah.
I had a huge polycarbonate 6-inch a polycarbonate clear tube for these ink tanks I made, and I gave her the full dimensions and she made the channels inside of the stuff that would pop on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's amazing. She sped me up so much. So
she knows
she's worth every dime. I'm sure there's a ton of great modelers out there, but she's definitely somebody that she spoiled me rotten a little bit because she speeds me up so much. I couldn't have done it without her.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that resource is there. So I can't wait to have her on the show.
I love my 3D printer so much now. I'm before I liked it, it did a great job, but I have, I will say one thing in the beginning. When I got my 3D printer, I was like, this is a nightmare. What have I done? Because I failed on so many, I'd have so many spaghettis and filament spaghettis and fails. And so I sat down and I read tons of forums, tons of posts, and I like fine-tuned it. There's so many little things that like you have to have a relationship with your 3D printer. You need to sit down, figure out exactly what works in your room and, what speed it prints best at with what filament. And, you really just need to take the time to research. And if you do, you'll never fail. My printer rarely fails in like so many prints since I sat down and really kind of had that little.
Well, it seems like there's a period of time of you really have to get it dialed in.
You do, yeah. And once you do, it's fine.
So it seems like everybody I know that has, dove into 3D printing, it's like it's a nightmare for a week or two, or however long it takes them to take the time to really sit down and really learn it. And it's just like it's a run. It seems like keeping a 3D printer maintained and running well is a bit of a time investment, so that it'll do what it's supposed to do. And there's a bit of upkeep too. Have you found is there a filament that you prefer?
Oh, thank you. So I lost my phone right before we filmed this. It's in the house somewhere. Eric luckily told me I can alert it to find it. But in my phone is a bunch of notes for the show, because I've been writing down. Haven't been able to talk very much to people, so I've been writing down stuff that I wanted to talk about. And one of them was this engine filament. So it's like a copolyester PLA, I think is what it's described as.
Yeah.
And I printed clear with it for the first time. Love it. I printed some parts for some of these projects, and I have to say, my regular Color Fab, I think, filament. I can't even remember the brands. Y'all, my brain's a potato. It's like so crazy right now. My normal PLA. It sands all right. It doesn't sand. I'm not going to really call it sanding.
You kind of knock it down.
You knock it down. Yeah. It's all right though. I love PLA. PLA never fails for me. ABS is whatever. I'm not an ABS girl. I'm not knocking you if you like ABS. That's fine. PLA for life right here though. But I do want to try other filaments. So I've tried ABS, PLA, and I wanted to try this engine copolyester. It had great reviews and all this talk about how it was like, it handled curves really well without a lot of obnoxious support, like certain angles. And boy, does it. Wow. My Lord. I sent Bill a little video. I was like, Bill, look at this, and told him all about it. It did normally, if I have support going something, and this is something I have to tune with my printer. Sorry, I'm just like talking for days. I have these little squiggles at the bottom where the support is. And I know I looked online and there's a lot of little fixes for that. And I just haven't had the time to change that. This engine one just did those better, even without me changing anything.
Oh, wow.
It handled the curves better, and it sands well.
Really?
Yeah. So
what do you mean by it sands well? I mean,
it
what
actually
is that?
sands.
Really? Interesting.
So how plastic sands? I would say this sands like Smoothcast 300.
What?
Yeah, isn't that weird? And I'm not overhyping
it.
It sands. I couldn't believe it. But here's the downside. It's brittle, which makes sense why it sands. Because the others are flexible.
Right. That definitely makes sense. So
I popped I printed this beautiful big tube and popped it off the 3D printer in half.
Oh, it busted.
Because I grabbed it like I could grab PLA. My PLA always is fine. And I was like, no.
You're like, nah.
Yeah, so I had to glue it back together. But
so were you able to save that, or did you have to reprint it?
No, I've saved everything. If something broke, I fixed it. I had no choice. There's no time.
Yeah, no time for reprints.
Yeah, I will say I found an amazing adhesive. I've tried I read online about different ways to fuse PLA and whatnot together, and there's an intense chemical way that Bill talked about why he doesn't do it on his on one of his videos, and I found a great alternative to epoxy, and it's this plastic bonder, JB Weld plastic bonder.
Oh, really? So it's kind of like an epoxy made for plastic or something.
Yeah. So I have on my Farragun, I've got parts glued together with different stuff.
Yeah.
And once I got to the part where I was using the plastic bonder, it's set up faster. It's set up so strong. Man, I just like it. It sands pretty well.
Did you find that on Amazon or something? Or?
Yeah, I have 3 new packs of different kinds of adhesive inside in the laundry room. I just buy every adhesive until I've tried them all.
Yeah, we know.
And I found it on Amazon. And they have an industrial strength one that's a black tube. And that one's all right, but for some reason, just the regular plastic bonder is
one
better.
You like it better?
Yeah.
Well, because it says pro or whatever doesn't always mean it's better. So
Dude, that reminds me. For those of you listening, you won't get to see this, but if you watch, you will. I want to show you how much I bought this like cheap Bondo. This is real cheap stuff, and look how much I used.
Oh my gosh, because that was like a pound.
This was a full pound.
A full pound tube.
I've used like 3/4 of a pound.
That is a lot of filler.
There's just there was so much stuff. I used it because I couldn't use automotive as like a light thing. Yeah. So I would use like Bondo in places I would usually just fill like a couple scratches or something with like a light primer. I couldn't spray anymore, so it was Bondo for life. I was just Bondoing everything.
Just Bondoed it all.
Oh my gosh. And it cracked on some spots because remember you warned me not to do it too thick in the beginning. So I had to fill these like tiny little indents, and I did them all too thick and they all cracked. So from now on I redid it with like thinner coats in between, but
that you gotta be careful with that stuff. So but,
I should have listened to you.
It's all right. Whatever. Yeah.
But I sent Eric luckily Eric has seen my work in progress or some of my work in progress and my finished. Yeah. And you said nice things, so.
Well, I think I think everything turned out looking really good. I was impressed with the glossy paints. I thought. So did you use all Createx on it then? Is that what?
I did. Yeah. And they sent me a color like Nintendo, this is their jam. They wanted them to match. So they sent me the colors. And I had to mix them, which was I had like this big piece of paper where I would like mix like 4 drops of this, 1 drop of this, and like swipe it and swatch it. And I've never done that. I'm usually just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's so much easier when you can just like, hey, this color looks really great in the bottle.
I like this.
It's going to look great on my armor. Yeah, mixing paints is a drag.
It is. And the worst part is with that short cure time, I thought like I would guess it would cure a little bit darker, but some things cured too dark.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, like my pink and my green, when you guys see this stuff, you'll be like, oh man, but my like purpley blue was so good. I was so proud of that and loved it. So when the green was a little darker than I wanted, but that's time. I needed to be able to test paint a prop, let it cure for 2 days in the shop while I worked on other stuff. But that's what you need. You need more time.
I'm curious what they sent you as reference. Did they send you like a Pantone swatch or something? Or
I never knew that word until
Pantones.
That's funny. Yeah, I was like at first I thought it was I was like Pantene. Is that what that is?
No, Pantone's. It's been a standard reference for. I started in design 25 years ago, and Pantone was a standard reference then. So it's been around for years and years and years. It's just it's a company, and they maintain.
It's a company. I thought that was like that's what you were saying. That's what they call. No.
So Pantone Colors are a specific type of. They're a company. They make specific types of color guides, and for whatever reason, I don't know when they became in use. I mean, it was probably in the 80s or earlier, and they became the de facto for the printing industry.
Wow!
And because with offset color, before digital printing and everything. The only way to know what your colors were going to be was to look at the swatches and be like, okay, we need. Yeah. And so what they could do is, and they still can if you're using an actual inked printer, they can get those colors, right? So the designer's like, hey, I want this red to be Pantone whatever. And the ink guy will be like, okay. And they grab that ink color and that's what they load into the printer. And so
that's awesome.
It started way back when, before digital, but then they morphed in the digital age too, and they're still the de facto. So a lot of times if you're working with, in a professional realm, you'll run into Pantone colors. So
are you saying could I have sent the Pantone color numbers to someone and had paint made?
Possibly. There might be somebody out there that does that kind of stuff. But, I had no idea.
I needed time, though.
I don't know what the turnaround would be on that, though. But there probably is. Like suppliers of like acrylic paints. I could see that being a thing, Me
too, because you could go to Lowe's and take a swatch that has, and they have like the formula for their like color, labeled swatch. It just kind of goes in that bucket, so...
Yep. So anyway, that was like when I started in design school many years ago, that was like one of the most expensive things I had to buy was to get the guides though. You had to buy the pack of guides and they were like $175.
Is the guide, what's in the guide?
Well,
just
it looks
colors?
It looks like,
wow.
it looks
I
like,
want that.
Well, it looks just like, actually I can grab, I should grab them and show you, but I don't really feel like getting up to grab them. So,
okay.
But anyway, you know, like the swatches you get like of paints at a paint store.
Yeah.
Okay. They look like that, except for it's like a stack of them like this thick, and it's like every color, every shade of color that is in there.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
And then if you're working in like Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever, if you go into the color palettes in there, you can choose the Pantone Guides and assign Pantone colors. So it's a calibrated system, right? So what happens is if you have the actual printed color, you can look at that color of green and have the code on there. And then on your digital printing, you can be like, hey, I want this color on this shirt or whatever. And if you choose that, even though it looks slightly different on your monitor, it's going to come out printed the color that's on there, because all of the printing stuff is all calibrated to Pantone specifications.
That's amazing. You've just taught me so much. That's if I get another project after this and have more time, I'm going to look into that, because it'll save me time too.
It's basically a system set up to where what the final product is what you're seeing in the guide. And they have all these checks and balances along the way.
And not everybody's and monitors differ so much. Like I have my inside monitor calibrated to be more yellow.
Yeah, and you can't trust what you see on a monitor because, you know. So if you have the guide and you look at the guide and you're like, hey, that's this color, you know that when it goes to print, it's going to be that color, not what you see on the monitor or whatever.
I love that. That's so helpful. Yeah, when I talked to her on the phone, she mentioned that they were sending me the Pantone, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Pantene? Yeah, I like that. It's good for my hair. Woo,
I had no idea. That's so funny that I didn't know what it was. I should have Googled it, but who had time to do that? So.
No, that's okay.
I've learned something new. That's definitely helpful for the future. But, those colors, that was... I wish that I had, in like the turnaround, obviously, if it had been longer than a week, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And even still, I ran out of green and had to remix. I bought like individual bottles and mixed into bottles. So I had like a whole bunch.
Hopefully you mix enough to begin with, right?
And I didn't. And I had to remix.
So you had to rematch your original mix?
With other colors I had. And I was telling Eric, like, Hobby Lobby's an hour and a half away. So it's a 3-hour trip out of a day that you're, have the most energy and you're working. And I worked on all of this over the 4th of July holiday too. So like there was my plastic tubes. I paid extra for 2 days shipping on these plastic tubes. That was very expensive. And they came 5 or 6 days later.
Oh,
I ordered them on a weekend and they didn't process
because of the weekend. Yeah.
Yes. I ordered them on like Friday and they didn't get processed. Like they processed in payment on Friday and then they didn't get like shipped until Tuesday or Wednesday. It was a weird day. And I was like, what the heck? It was so terrible. So
that really sucks.
Yeah. The holiday was rough. I ordered like a few things, but I definitely should have ordered more paint. Neons are one thing I've learned about neons is all the neons I have with Createx are so crazy transparent.
Yes.
So transparent. Like, oh gosh. And so I had to mix, other things in it just to save. Had I had more time and I was able to layer nice thin coats of the neon and let them dry, it would have worked. But I would try to rush it and I'd puddle and then I'd make more work for myself. And so it was just, it was a little bit of a nightmare. But
so all the colors you did, they were all neon.
Yeah, they're all neon. I mean, well, no. Everything had a neon base because it all had to have like a little bit of that brightness. So like even my dark purple had fluorescent raspberry as a base, and then bright blue mixed in, and then a dark purple. So it was like I had to bring it up to that color, and I had so many swatches. They're over there, so hopefully after the pictures get approved, I'll be able to show that too. But it's It was crazy painting. It was just definitely, and oh my gosh, man, so many things went wrong. One of my needles messed up on my airbrush, the larger spray needle. So I had to spray with small needle, y'all.
Oh no!
Like big coverage, and I dropped my airbrush. My hose died, so that was great. So I had to get a new hose. Like something happened with my hose and it was leaking. Got a new hose. Dropped my airbrush because it pulled it off the table where I normally would set it.
Yeah, I've done that before. It
bit the front of the airbrush, the front metal. So then it wasn't spraying very well either.
Yeah, I've done that before and it's bent the needle, the tip of the needle. And it's like, dang it. And then you're,
So that was rough. And luckily one thing, so I was doing so much painting that even though I have a nice little airbrush compressor, it was too much because it gets hot and therefore detailing. So luckily I got this big old compressor now, but didn't have the coupling to fit the hose.
Yeah, because you need the reducer for it, right?
and I have tons of them, but I was missing one. And luckily, Matt got that fixed like the next day and when we were able to. And that compressor, man, having a big boy compressor, never will I ever use my other one again.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
I said that too. I do go back to using my little one every once in a while for just small things. But if I'm spraying a lot of stuff, it's just I'll take the time because it's really a time thing. It's like you have to get the extra coupler and just set it all up. And it's like usually it's like I don't want to deal with the setup. But
well, mine has 2 slots for spray or 2 or 3 slots, so I'm just gonna leave it attached.
Oh, that's nice. I wish. Yeah. I need to set up like I actually want to do that for my shop. Set up a little bit more of like a hard hose system, to where there's like 3 couplers or 4, and then you can have multiple things hooked, like an exchange, an air exchange, basically. So one of those days, I'll get around to doing that.
Yeah, Matt bought like hose and stuff to build like the full system to go around the top, so we can have like hook-ins. But
so you can have like
it just started like downpouring. Right, it was completely clear, and now it's just downpouring. Like this is where I live. I don't understand what's happening. It's like the end of the world here. Our island's gonna be completely covered soon. I'm just gonna be floating.
I'm having a beautiful sunny day in the greater Seattle area. So it's like 75. It's kind of mild.
I don't even know what the temperature is because it changes so much because of the rain. Gotcha. But so that paint thing was rough. But I will say that something that I was really pleased with that I wish I was able to spray, but I didn't have okay, let me start with this. Let's get the whole thought together. So the beginning of the thought is I kill airbrushes. I've got 3 that are dead. I bought a bunch of cheap ones, real cheap ones.
Well, at least they were cheap.
Super cheap. But I would like force the front thing off with a wrench too hard or tighten it too hard and it would pop off or all these weird things I broke, dropping them. Well, now I'm going to invest in a nice airbrush and treat it right. So I've looked and I found is it Posh or Pash?
I'm not really sure how to say it.
Okay. It sounds so pretentious, like Pash.
Maybe it's Pushe. No.
I'm going to say Pashe.
Posh.
Yeah. Pashe.
Posh. Pash.
Posh. Okay.
I don't know.
The big P.
Is it French?
Well, they make a 0.7 millimeter spray gun that I love the look of, and it has like a container and stuff. So I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to get an airbrush.
Is it a siphon fed style or?
Yeah, it's siphon. I like a gravity if I'm doing detailing, and I like a siphon if I'm covering.
If you're doing coverage, same here.
Yeah. But the reason why I want to get this, because people would say, why not use your critter gun or something? I have a critter gun. I've got a spray gun.
Yeah, but the critter's not really a base for paint. I mean, critters.
And you could waste a lot of material, too, in the one with the cup because you put so much paint in it, and you have to water it down to get it really down in there. And it's like, what if I only need a little bit?
Critters for, like, spraying heavy-duty, like
automotive primer is what I've...
Yeah, even that, it's probably not. I mean, even that, it's probably a little... It's not like a precision gun.
No, it's not.
It's more like a controlled way to hose something down.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So because it has like the hugest needle, or it doesn't even really have a needle, but the tip for it's huge. I mean, it's like I can't remember the exact size, but
I don't know either. But I like it.
Yeah, but it hoses down. It's not. It's not a precision.
It's not. Precision. I mean, I'm not like. I rarely use precision. Like I really need. On this project, I had to make like some itty bitty black lines, and so that was a time that I've used it. But most of the time, it is just that I need like large coverage and gradient kind of stuff. So
same here.
So I'm looking forward to getting the new airbrushes just to mix it up. But I'm super looking forward to having some time to take the shop and just give it a good cleaning. Like I need to reorganize. Everything's crazy. Like I made a trigger for one of those guns and I lost it in like this mess and had to remake another trigger and then found it like the day I shipped. Like that can't happen anymore, y'all. Like it was only 30 minutes of time, but still it was like very frustrating to lose it.
Well, I'm sure that if whenever I'm jamming really hard on a big project and I have a deadline and I'm sure the shop looks a little like a bomb exploded in there. So
yeah, mine is I don't know. I don't even like people to come in and see it. It's like I'm ashamed of how messy I am. But, it's me.
But that's how it goes, though. That's how it goes. So
it does, and it wouldn't be this bad if I didn't have that deadline. But I posted that picture of my legs, like under my bike shorts. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my legs! I don't understand how I get so much stuff on my legs.
Yeah,
it's
I don't either. It's like way down there.
I wipe my hands a lot on my legs and it like drips down. But wet sanding got really messy. Like I had a lot of wet sand stuff everywhere. Like the bottom of my bathtub needs to be cleaned. It has pink Bondo stuff in it. so I don't know.
But did you do a ton? Did you wet sand everything?
Everything.
All the Nintendo stuff? And
it didn't matter because like there's still, so some parts are super, super smooth, but then there's just like things that didn't get filled in time.
Yeah.
Didn't get enough filling. So like there still are mistakes. This is my first time making a 2-part mold, like a gun mold. And I sent you my pictures, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
And I was really excited to make a gun mold. It was cool to like do my 2-part with my registration keys and stuff. And the guns came out great. They casted fine. But the problem is there were so many like points in that I had air bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a rookie mistake. There's things I should have changed with the mold and or cast certain pieces separately. The problem is I wanted it to be a strong whole piece because I had this like connection idea in my head for how to like screw in this tube and stuff. So
yeah. Well, and the other thing too is like if you start breaking things out into pieces, then that's more time assembling things too.
Yeah, and more molds to make.
And more molds to make. And so it's like there's a balance there between do I do it this many? Do I do it this way? You know, because for you, especially on this project and for every project for everybody, it's always about time, right?
Yeah.
I've said that ad nauseum on this show. Always about time, you know. And so sometimes, you know, you just go with what's going to be best for that job at that time. And I'm sure you decided that, you know, to do it one piece or the whole thing in a 2-part mold was your solution. How many of those did you end up casting then?
I only cast 2.
Just 2.
Yeah, which sucks. But I had to make 2 exact replicas, and like I made one fully, you know, for the mold, and I just wasn't confident that it was going to be strong enough, stable, and I was going to be able to make like 2 exact copies in that short amount of time and have to like fill and sand 2. So I needed to get that one. If I could get one filled and sanded and perfect and then make 2 molds that were almost perfect and smooth, it would save me more time, I thought. But I don't know what would have been in hindsight, I just am not sure if I made the right call on that because they ended up being the worst pieces. They ended up being the ones that I needed one more week, you know,
the most cleanup and stuff.
Yeah, they needed the most cleanup, and that's a lot to do with like the air bubbles, and you know, so like that bums me out that I had so many stupid air bubbles. Yeah,
but then again, those are solid pieces now too, though, right? So
they're solid. They're strong. They're heavy, but they're strong.
Yeah. So given the use of what they're for, maybe that was also a better idea too, because the last thing you want is something that's like going to fall apart under a lot of use. So. You know.
Yeah, so that was definitely, and then the cosplayer is actually going to be holding those. One of the cosplayers, Heidi, she's holding the dualies. So.
Oh, gotcha. So they also hired a couple. So they have a couple cosplayers along with this whole booth, then, huh?
Yeah. So Heidi, something is her last name. She made an amazing Zelda that I saw at Katsucon. It's so good. Oh, yeah. And then they hired a Disney guy, like a Disney teen star guy.
Yeah.
And he's the other one. So. Cool. Yeah, it's really cool. It makes sense they would go with somebody that's like squeaky clean Disney, you know. But it's going to be cool to see. They have like the ink tank backpacks and stuff too, which I really like those ink tanks. I think they're super cool. So I'm interested to see it all together. But
it'll be fun to see if people start. I'm assuming they'll probably have like a hey, use our photo booth and hashtag whatever.
They are.
And it'll be fun to see, you know, when people start showing up soon. That's like this week, right?
Yeah, they arrive. They're supposed to be in California tomorrow. So once they get the props, I'm just like hoping they make it there.
Because San Diego,
like, here I am talking about it, and like, what if they don't make it there?
Yeah, that's the thing. Right? Well, but that's nothing you can control. So I mean,
I insured
you did your part of the job.
Whatever.
So.
Yeah, I'm just nervous about the paint more than anything. Shipping in the paint, like that just scared me. I wrapped it in like cling wrap because I tested that, and that seemed to be the only thing that wasn't peeling the paint off.
Yeah,
and it wasn't scuffing it or anything. So they're wrapped in cling wrap and then wrapped in a lot of bubble wrap. So.
Yeah, I totally forgot because when you told me you were going to be really close to the wire, I was gonna suggest to you something that Volpin always uses and that I've learned from him is the dry cleaner bags.
The dry cleaners. Yeah. I think these are similar. And
I'm sure it's I'm sure a lot of that plastic is the same type, but you know, he's shipped many very high priced props.
Yeah, I remember
to many
him talking about
companies,
that.
and that's his go-to. So
I mentioned it on like Thursday, and then I was like, well, this cling wrap, I tested it seemed to be working, but I'm going to get some from my dry cleaners. But for me, it was like I got to go up the beach, 35 minutes to go get it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
So, again, but I will. I'm definitely going to try it.
Time and distance.
And I was so dirty and like scraggly looking every day. It was hard to like leave and go in front of people. I look crazy. So it's what was I going to say about the paint? Oh yeah, but hopefully they make it there and it'll be all right. But we'll see.
I think it will. I think it's gonna be great. There'll be a lot of happy people all over Instagram and all over whatever their choice, social media of choice, enjoying. Yeah. It's Splatoon, right? Splatoon
2, yeah.
I don't even know anything about Splatoon. I just know it's a game, so that's it.
Yeah, it's very colorful. I like the look of the game is cool, and like all the weapons are really cool looking. Like the whole, they look like squirt guns sort of, but they're
like oversized squirt guns and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the aesthetic of it. I don't even know what you do in the game. I don't know if you fight other people or what.
I don't know.
I'm just assuming you do. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's the internet age, right? You pretty much play against people.
Dude,
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'll have to I'm going to watch some of it, some playtime of it. I just haven't had time to watch anything really.
Yeah.
So, but I want to look it up. One video game I have watched a little bit of while I was crafting is that 7 Days to Die game. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I bought it and downloaded it and played for an hour and a half while I had stuff drying. Everything was drying or curing.
Yeah, so you're downtime, a little bit of downtime.
I had a break at like 12:30 at night. So I went inside and played for an hour and a half and loved it. It's like a zombie crafting game. So like you have to survive. Zombies get harder and harder to defeat as time goes on after 70 days or something. So you have to build like a base and scavenge and like I don't know. It's really cool. I just like it.
Tower defense style or something else?
It is like a defense style. Like you build a base and you can do like automatic shotguns and spikes and things. It gets really high tech later on.
Is it a phone game or a
No, it's a PC game. It's $30. It's an indie game and it's still technically an alpha because that's the way of games now.
Everything's
buy into the alpha and the beta and you play it for 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think Arc has even been released and it's like it has an expansion, a DLC expansion, and it's still not technically like a released.
I forgot about Arc.
Yeah, I loved Arc for a long time, and then it they were sort of slow to release new content, and that was the kind of lull I took. And then now they've been really good at it. But it's like once you play it once, I don't know. I felt like I did everything. You tame all the dinosaurs, you build a cool base, then what?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never played it, but I just remember hearing about it for, it was kind of one of those that kind of had a big release. Well, not technically a release, but game. Sort of release. And then.
But I mean, most things on Unreal Engine 4 are really good looking. So it's like super, super good looking. But
that's a good point. Very good point.
I like that. But I played 7 Days to Die and then I played some Minecraft lately, but not much. I miss video games. Like there's a new raid in WoW. And I haven't even logged on. And there's a new Necromancer in Diablo. I updated my Diablo. I haven't been able to play. It's like, guys.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Necromancers, have you seen all the friends that we have that are building Necromancers for BlizzCon? It's like, holy cow.
I don't even know where my phone is. I can't check it.
There's going to be an army of Necromancers at BlizzCon.
That's amazing. I love that, though. I loved the Necromancer in original Diablo. So, so I'm excited to see, how the gameplay is. I hope it's good. But
I don't know. I don't play WoW, but.
Oh man, how about freaking Frank Shop's Lich King?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus, that was so good looking.
So I have a little story about that Lich King.
You do?
Just a very, very, very periphery story about that.
What's periphery you mean?
On the edge, just close but with distance. Kind of like like
right Kevin Bacon, like 6 degrees of Kevin
Bacon. Yeah. So
tell me.
So one day I'm doing my day job and I get a phone call from California and I'm like, I don't know many people in California, but hey, and it's not a number that comes up as one I recognize, So I sent it to voicemail and lo and behold, it's Frank Ippolito. When I go to check the voicemail and I'm like, hey, well, that's pretty cool. I've hung around Frank a few times and I know he knows of me and stuff, but I would never have expected to get a call from him, I
wonder how he got your phone number.
Well, he knows Gary. Well, Gary worked. My friend Gary. He also goes by. Do you know Gary? Beer Money Props. Yeah. Well, he works for Frank now.
Oh, okay. I think I knew that though. Yeah.
He's been working with Frank. Well, he's been working with Frank like part time for like a year and a half or so. But he's actually full time at Frank's shop now.
Gosh, isn't that crazy to think that Frank has full time employees?
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them.
I know, it's crazy. Like, that is so amazing.
There was there was like 6 or 7 people there when I visited his shop last year. So anyway, I digress. He's like, okay, here's the deal. You can't tell anybody about this, but we're working on Lich King, and I need you to consult on this, and I want to know how you made it, because he knew that I worked on the one with Alicia, Vixen, and I was like, I hate to tell you this, but I pretty much did nothing on that but build the sword.
Yeah.
Like, what you really need to do is talk to Alicia. So he's like, oh, okay.
That's so nice of you, though. Like, a lot of people there's a lot of shady people that would just be like, oh, mine. Like, of course, hire me.
No, I'm not. It's because it's like, because
you're such a good guy.
Because, well, he knew that one of us, had done a lot of work on it. And they're like, hey, we're going to be creating pretty much the same thing, although the actual male version, not a gender female version. And, but I thought it was pretty cool that he thought of our work and was contacting us about it. So I've known about that project for like months and months and months and months, but I haven't been say anything about it.
Yeah, you told me about it.
So. Yeah.
We talked about it. But...
I didn't tell you about it. What are you talking about? Frank.
Well, I talked to the Lich King,
if you ever listen to this podcast,
it's for Hearthstone, so like someone was going to talk to me about it.
I know. But the thing I didn't know was it was going to be connected in with the commercials that you worked on as well.
Yeah, the Mulligans. But I think
the
this
Mulligan
is
stuff.
Separate. Yeah, the Mulligans.
Yeah, but it's kind of for that same series, right?
Well, the new expansion. Frozen Throne expansion for Hearthstone. So but it's cool that they're doing that. Like, I think they should run with that character. I hope they do a lot more. I talked to, I guess can we say
Steven? Who? Steven, because he's already posted about that. He's which is interesting because Steven is an amazing builder. But he didn't build anything for it. He's just basically the actor. Model. Because he's like, I don't know, he's like 6'6" or something.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Steven's a big dude, so a big.
I didn't realize he was that tall. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. He's pretty buff.
Yeah, he was an excellent Lich King. I was really when we talked about it, I was like, oh man, that is so cool. Like, I don't know, the whole concept was great. The costume was, immaculate.
Yeah, it looked great. It looked great. Although their sword didn't smoke, though. Just saying.
Shots fired. Man, it just made gosh, and it's crazy. They've worked on that for a while, and all those people worked on it. When I saw the post go up, I was like, oh man, really wish I had some shop mates.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, I think the post there was I want to say
6 people in the photo.
I was like 6 or 8 people. It's like wow. It's like imagine having a whole team working on something like that.
Yeah, everything would be that quality. Being able to have those extra hands, because a lot of what comes down to these projects, you just need another set of hands. I needed a set of hands blow drying. Yeah. I had my brother come in and tape one night just because I was like, please, can you just help me for just a couple hours? And it's having all those people that is what that's what a fully equipped shop can create, and it was beautiful. I'm excited. I talked to Frank a little bit about it a couple days ago, and he's got some other really cool jobs coming up too.
Yeah, they have some really cool stuff in the works. So and they've been working on Seth MacFarlane's new show too. So.
Oh, have they? What's that?
Yeah, it's called the Oroville. Have you seen anything about that yet?
I don't think so. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's basically a Star Trek parody show. I mean,
fun.
Kind of like Galaxy Quest-ish.
Yeah.
But
that's cool. I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
Stars and is written by Seth MacFarlane, and his shop has been doing tons of work on that too, I believe. So
that's so cool. It's really. I think that Frank. I mean, obviously, Frank is doing really well now, but it's crazy how fast he seems like he's progressing in the industry. It's unbelievable. He's been around for a long time, but I saw in his video not that long ago, he was talking about getting a second warehouse for the 3D printers and stuff.
Yeah, I believe they've already taken it over. So
that's crazy to me.
Because the way his shop's set up is in these longer buildings, and so it's he has now one across the driveway basically, or the access between the two. So one that's cool. For clean work and stuff. That's where they're going to do 3D printing, and sewing and things like that. And then the other one's more materials shop, which is the older shop, which he just expanded like a year and a half ago. So yeah, he's doing really well. He's a great guy, and really enjoy the time whenever I get to spend any time with him. So
yeah,
he also is a guy that told me I was crazy to hand sculpt the Wonder Woman sword. So
he is. Oh, that's funny. Oh my god.
Yeah, I showed it to him. I showed it to him because I had just started it around the time Dragon Con started, and I was like, "Hey, check out this sword I'm working on." And he looks at the sculpt, and he's like, "Well, why are you hand sculpting that? That's crazy." He's like, "You should use a CNC or a laser cutter or something." I'm like, "Well, I don't have those. So I have these two hands. These two hands, Frank. These two hands."
And now he has like that huge 3D printer, which I think is what they used for that costume. Like that, they had that big.
Yeah, they had that big, large format printer. So
man.
I don't know. I know they're running a an Ultimaker as well.
Yeah.
So like
I just thought it was like the shop tour video that they did like a few months ago. He had that. It's like as big as this table, the setup. I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, what is that? There's some like industrial 3D printer. Like, could you imagine having a shop equipped like his? Like, it is crazy the stuff you could create.
Yeah. Like, yeah, his shop's cool. I recommend visiting, and if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, I will. Next time I'm out there, I really want to go see him. Yeah. It's crazy. I can't even imagine.
Maybe we can go out there together. Maybe.
Yes, we will.
Maybe.
Hopefully. Oh, I'll be there for BlizzCon. So if you're going to BlizzCon, you got a ticket, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you're going, right?
Yeah, of course. I bought a ticket, so I have to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that reminds. I may be doing something really cool for BlizzCon. I had mentioned before. Yeah. And I heard a little bit more. Like I got a message about some more of that. So hopefully that's a thing. And so
awesome.
I want to stay there and stay with Liz for a little bit longer. So if you come down and take some time, then maybe we could do some stuff. So.
Yeah. No, definitely. I want to hang out. I did that last year too. I stayed like an extra couple days, 2 or 3 days. So yeah, I'm hoping to do that again this year.
I'm really excited for BlizzCon.
Hey, Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. Well, I brought up Wonder Woman sword, and I'm kind of on the boring track as far as projects goes because that's really all I've worked on for the past 2 months.
Well, you're not boring if eventually you get to talk about like what you're doing with your Wonder Woman sword. Like maybe you'll get to talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Your other commission-y thing.
Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, I won't be able to talk about that for at least another month. So
at some point you will.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
fun, guys.
I mean, it's not. It's cool. I mean, it's like.
It's extremely cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty really cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. It's pretty cool. But so I don't remember the last time we talked about it when we were talking about stuff. But it's officially done. So, and I have copies available.
Oh, yeah. Your sword.
So, yeah, the sword.
It looks great.
And, here's the thing. I had a whole episode while you were gone with friends of mine all about Wonder Woman, and I didn't even mention the sword in the giveaway that I'm doing.
That's so funny because I watched it too and I was like, man, it was like a whole movie kind of thing.
I know. And it's like, hey, you idiot, why don't you mention the content or the giveaway you're doing for the sword about, I mean, it was a Wonder Woman specific episode, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am doing a giveaway, so there you go, in case anybody out there doesn't know.
And you have until when is it in August 4th?
Yes, I'm giving away on my birthday.
Oh, that's your birthday?
August 4th is my birthday.
Oh, cute. So, you're giving away on your birthday. That's funny. People should send you something, and you're sending out something to someone else.
Oh, I want somebody to have a really happy day on my birthday.
You're great at sharing your toys.
I try. I love doing giveaways. I really do. And
I do too.
I appreciate the people that listen to this show. I appreciate the people that follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and wherever. And it's just a really short, easy, not super easy because I have to make something. But I like being able to say, hey, thanks for doing this and giving somebody a chance to win something cool.
I love that. I think that's really cool. It's very grateful of you that, giving back to all the people that support you. But
it's fun. If I could quit my day job and spend my days making things to give away to people, I would do that. That would be the greatest job in the world.
Coming right off this project, I got to say I would not do that. No, I'm just kidding. As long as I had more, if it was my own schedule, sure.
Yeah, no, on my own time, on my own schedule. So the perfect setup would be there's some benefactor out there.
Yeah.
That just wants to pay me to make cool stuff for people and give it away. I would make multiples of things, and I would go to cons and just like randomly walk up to.
That would be so fun.
Like Bill, remember when Bill from Punished Props, he did that with a Ray Blaster.
Yes. Oh man, that was so freaking cool. And at Dragon Con, he had a flexible sword shaft from Highlander.
Oh really?
Yeah, and he was like really phallic, and he like threw it, and the person caught it at one. It was so funny. It was just like it was like a pro moment. But
that's panel. Right. I remember that now.
Yeah,
I think I remember hearing. Is there a video of that? I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a because they were recording a podcast that was really entertaining. I have to say the whole thing was so funny because
I don't think I've listened to that one.
Oh my gosh, you have to. Harrison talks about getting emails from people that are like, they just want to be friends. Yeah, they're like, hey, I think we'd be really good friends.
Yeah. Hey, you're a cool dude. Weird. I just want to be your friend.
Oh man. Oh, speaking of which, so after we did the Q&A, I don't know if you have. I'm sure you have, but I've gotten a lot of messages like things for our next Q&A, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, the Q&A episode?
Instagram. Yeah. A lot of people, I guess, are people that listened were like, opportunity to ask a question. Some of them are extremely long, and I have gotten all of your questions. Don't worry. I have not been able to respond to anybody because obviously,
I've had even have time to record a podcast for.
I know, and so I haven't.
Hang out with like one of your favorite people. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I hugged the monitor when I got on the podcast.
She did. I got one of these.
I did. Yep, virtual hug. So I got a bunch of emails that are very in depth on like how to make a costume, and then I got a couple emails. I checked one this morning that's like very much just any tips on how to get started. That is so vague that I just want to say Punished Props, Volpin, Eric, Liz, like there are, if you just search around like cosplay tutorials, Mooey, Pretzel, there are tons of tutorials. It's a lot easier for me to just say Google cosplay tutorial than me to like take the time to type out. And it's not that I don't love that you're asking me because like that's really sweet, but this format is the best. The Q&A and this kind of format is the best way for me to say, hit up all these folks because it's endless, like the tutorials that you can find online.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and really the thing, and a lot of our friends preach this too. So I don't remember who started it, but I hear Ted say it a lot. Just
Ted probably.
Just start. I think I know what you're going to say. Just start building something.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like people want to plan and this and that, and you know what? Until you make something, like begin making something, that's the best way to learn. You can read everything you want and watch every YouTube tutorial out there, but until you just start,
try it with your hands.
Just start. Even if you don't watch any of those or buy any ebooks or anything, just start making stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people have free templates and patterns on their websites too. So if you just want a pattern, because that is the daunting part, you can definitely get a free pattern and just make one thing to completion. Yeah. That gives me a lot of confidence just to complete one thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're new, go download a free pattern. Yeah, dude. I mean, Bill at Punished Props, he has our buddy Bill. He has a free book. You can
his first one. That's right.
Download his free book and make a space gun.
Yeah, dude.
It's step by step. I think I did that way back when. One of the first things I ever made was one of his space guns. So
that's pretty cool.
So cool. All right. Yeah, you feel like you got all the scoop on Nintendo that you want?
I think so. I can't really remember. Like, I don't know. I feel like I wish I had my phone because I has a bunch of notes in it. Like I said, but gone.
Well, I'm sure it'll pop up here and there, and
it's somewhere
in future episodes. So
I'll find it eventually.
All right.
But I'm excited about Nintendo. I hope that it gets there and that everything's okay.
I think it will. It'll be great. Everybody will have a great time.
Yeah.
So there you go. Jackie's back. Yay.
I'm back. I'm back.
And you're gonna have time to do more podcasts now.
Yeah, and I have to.
Or do you need to take a break for the summer?
What?
I said, or do you need to take a break for the summer?
No, look, Eric is trying to get rid of me already. He was like, I like my Wonder Woman girls. He's like, nope, I don't need Jackie. No. I don't want Jackie anymore. Jackie talks too much. She's too loud.
No. I like that you're loud and talk too much.
I like to talk to you loud and talk too much at you. Yeah, I'm excited though. I love the podcast. It's a nice break and it lets me talk about things that I don't have to type about. I can just say it here.
Exactly. You can just yak about it. Okay.
Yeah, just yak. I have lots of it's funny because after this I have to jump right into my Simplicity project because my deadline's in like 2 weeks, but that's okay because I have most of that finished. So
that's good.
I'm so happy that I started that a while back.
And didn't put it off.
But my Farrah, like, dude, BlizzCon's only 4 months away.
Yeah, it's coming quick.
And that sounds like, it's like, oh, what are you stressing about? 4 months.
No, you have a lot of stuff to do though too. I mean,
yeah, I have sanding takes a month. Yeah. It does. And you have to stop or you'll just die. Like, I sanded so much that my thumb has changed shape on one side from like holding the paper. It's like dented in. It's awful. So oh man, that Farrah is just gonna be I mean, I have a lot done. Yeah. It just feels like there's still so much left. Oh, actually, I say I have a lot done, but like the whole crotch down is not done. Not at all. I don't have any stuff to wear on my legs. I could just make it a ball gown Farrah and just put the skirt on and then just wear the stuff from the waist up.
There you go.
No.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll get there. I'm sure. I have faith in you. You can do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm calling this episode ended.
Okay. We'll send it. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Turtle. Right, Turtle, if you made it this far.
We'll see you next time on Craft and Geek, okay?
Bye. Bye.